If you could collaborate with any toy company for your own figure, who would you want it to be? I would take Tesla. I wanted to make a cybernetic Todd organism, and then then we can upload my personality to it and clone me, and then I can have it go do fun Todd things. I just play Baldur's Gate.
I think the world only needs one Toddly. Todd.
Yeah, we don't need more.
I think that's enough.
I'm actually training an AI to clone me right now.
So you can once you're gone, it can continue. It'll be like a transhuman kind of a thing. Hey, welcome everyone. This is Gonzo, your host of Geeked and Jacked. And as usual, my two co-hosts, Big Paul and Dr. Toddly, here ready to talk about fitness, nerdiness, and whatever the hell pops into our heads. So hopefully it'll be entertaining. All right, gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Great.
Doing great.
Doing good. How's the shoulder, by the way, Paul? I haven't asked you in a while.
Out of the sling this week.
Nice.
You can see the arms all atrophied, but
give it a month. Give it a month. When can you lift?
I got a long road ahead of me because they had to reinsert my bicep tendon.
Ooh. Okay.
So my bicep tendon was like 70% torn, so they completely reattached it up top. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's like right up under my armpit. They reattached it there, cleaned my labrum up, and cleaned my supraspinatus up, and it was a pretty intense surgery. But so far I feel good. 4 weeks post surgery, out of the sling, doing physical therapy 2 to 3 days a week. I just had PT today. Just in my range of motions, about a month ahead of schedule. So
that's good.
Yay, growth hormone for the win.
So GH, TB,
is that all you used?
BPC?
Yeah, my surgeon, it was hilarious, Todd, when I went in for the consult with the surgeon, he was like, I recognize you. And I'm like, oh yeah.
I always say, have you visited the post office lately?
I'm like, where do you recognize me from, dude? And he's like, you were on with Vigorous Steve, weren't you? And I'm like, yep, that was me. And
nice.
And he's like, and I was like, all right, so he knows what's up. but anyway, he told me to wait 2 weeks post surgery to start the peptides and the GH, 2 to 3 weeks, so scar tissue wouldn't build up. So that's kind of what I did. And I'm just running right now. I'm running BPC 157 and TB 500 and just like 4 units of GH and TRT.
Okay. So that doesn't make sense to me, though, because the TB500 is an anti-inflammatory. So you'd think you'd want the TB500 onboarded first.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, but I just held off.
The GH is a collagen synthesis. You'd want that to hold off, in theory. The test is collagen synthesis.
BBC is collagen synthesis, too.
I thought PPC doesn't do collagen. It does VEGF, vasoendothelial growth factor.
I think it increases. I'll have to look that up. I'm pretty sure that it does increase collagen synthesis. Okay. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong.
I could be wrong. Because I like to simplify things in my head.
Well,
when sometimes things are more complicated than they are.
Let's ask ChatGPT and see what she says.
Yeah. Are you throwing some Anavar at it too? Just to
Yeah, I might.
Does that hit your cholesterol hard, by the way?
Yes, it lowers my HDL.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Nothing hits HDL harder than Anavar.
Interesting.
I've seen guys with single-digit HDLs from.
I've had 9.
Specifically from Anavar?
All right, so here's.
I don't think anyone runs just Anavar, but
yeah,
I've managed to get my HDL all the way down to 9 before.
Oof. Does that scare you at a conceptual level? Nah.
No, because I've never had an ApoB higher than 92, and I've never had an LDL higher than 70.
That's crazy, man. You're lucky as fuck. finally got mine under control after using retatrutide. All right, so here's what ChatGPT says. Collagen production, BPC-157, stimulates fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen in connective tissue, enhancing their activity and promoting extracellular matrix regeneration. So there's our answer.
There we go.
So does it also say that it does VEGF? It turns up blood flow through increasing vascularization, or is it only collagen?
I do know that it does that.
Okay, good. So it's just something I didn't know about was the fibroblasts. Okay, cool.
That's nice. See,
it's a really cool compound.
Well, let's check and see while you're there. Does TB500 turn up the fibroblasts? Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But I might be wrong with that one too.
Just to confirm, BPC-157 increases VEGF expression. So there you go.
While you're there, check and see if TB500 turns up the fibroblasts also, or if it's just the anti-inflammatory.
I think it's just an anti-inflammatory.
Right, me too.
Yeah, and you could always throw in KPV if you want the anti-inflammatory, but you know.
Oh, actually, it says TB500. Yeah, it does increase fibroblast activation.
No shit. All right, so I guess he was right. The surgeon actually knew what he was doing.
Yeah, it says TB500 promotes the migration and proliferation of fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen. This leads to increased collagen types 1 and 3, crucial for skin, muscle, and tendon and ligament integrity.
And scar tissue.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Paul, what's an interesting one? It's another peptide.
Your makeshift microphone's making a bunch of rattling, Todd.
Yeah, it's because
you had to drop it. But anyway, you might want to check that one out as an option. It's cheap too. That's one of the cheaper peptides.
I will say this: I don't always trust the information from ChatGPT. So
healthy skepticism is very healthy with AIs, and that is one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about. Did you hear about the AI study from the University of Zurich?
No, I didn't hear about this.
All right, so here's how it works. Let me see if I can find the article.
I think you might need to ditch the axe, Todd. It's banging, making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
All right, well, I was trying to find a way of propping it up. So does it make noise when I just hold it like this?
Yeah. Well, now it's not.
Yeah, now it's good.
All right.
Yeah.
So then it was what I was putting the axe on to support it, so I can just use my ankle.
Now it's making noise now. Yeah.
What about this?
You're getting the resonation from the axe. Yeah, probably better to just hold it.
All right.
There you go.
So here is the article, and with the magic of post-production, I'll just put the image and all the info later. But the long story is that these scientists created a bunch of AI chatbots to see if they could teach them to persuade people on politics, religion, see if they could get people to change their minds. Not only could they, but they were over 6 times more efficient at changing people's minds than humans.
I mean, it's already happening. I'm sure foreign propaganda arms, I'm sure the Chinese, and, my background's in computer science. I worked in information security. I think it's been going on for a while. I mean, the Russians have been very, very, very good at manipulating social media for years.
Yeah.
And I know they were using manpower before. They had these troll farms where they were making memes. They were literally using memes to influence people.
Hey, but it works.
Yeah, no, it worked. And I'm sure now with, and I think this, if I recall correctly, this was one of the things that I remember hearing Elon Musk, whether you like him or hate him, it was a year or two ago, kind of sounding the warning alarm on AI, and his fear and concern wasn't so much that it was going to be like Terminator kind of situation, but that it was going to be used as a tool for manipulation and propaganda.
Sure.
And that you could literally change people's minds with it.
I mean, we see the deep fakes now, and they're good.
And you don't even really you think about the I don't want to go down the political rabbit hole, but you think about the razor thin margin in politics here. I mean, a couple percent either way is really all the elections.
Sure.
Really, all the elections are here in the U.S. I mean, we're essentially 50-50.
Yeah,
it's a plus or minus, 5, maybe 10% on a landslide election. I don't even think there's been a 10% swing. But if you could manipulate 5% of people with AI, that's enough to throw a whole entire election.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's a powerful propaganda tool. And you already see it in social media. I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but the way the AI algorithms work in social media, they're essentially an echo chamber where you just get fed more of the same shit that you... and I think that's why a lot of times, like, you'll see people that literally, like, doom scrolling is a mental illness.
It's a dopamine. It's a cheap dopamine hit, right? Like, it's constantly hitting your brain.
Yeah, I've really tried to kind of limit my consumption of social media lately. Like over the last 6 to 12 months, I find that my mood is better when I just kind of stay off of it, and I don't, especially like with, Todd knows how it is now. You get some popularity in bodybuilding, man. If you start reading the comments section,
I had my first troll too recently.
Oh, welcome to the club, man. I now I just hit the block button, man. I get fucking people all day long, every day.
Just block.
Yeah, and it's easy to get yourself in the comments section. It was really fucking bad last year when I was on contest prep. People just came out of the woodwork to tell me how much I sucked.
People were attacking you while you're on prep?
Oh yeah, it was the worst then.
So
it was the worst.
Was it just that prep?
Yeah, it was specifically that one. That was the one.
Why that really... prep? When you were actually growing into the show and it actually looked your best?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's probably what throws people off.
So it's the envy factor.
Insecurity.
Yeah, I've never been attacked while I was on prep. This most recent show, I got attacked afterward about how bad my conditioning was, but that was really the peak that went wrong. But I don't remember you. This was your best look of all time.
Oh, it was brutal, man. It was fucking, and you know how it is when you're on prep, man. The drugs, the calorie deficit, everything, and your mood gets a little off anyway, and you're probably a little more sensitive to it than you normally would be. I just let it go. But circling back to the AI thing, I mean, just it's almost becoming indiscernible what is AI and what's not anymore. I think most people have a hard time. Well, I mean, shit, fucking people don't even people fall for fake memes, like your grandma and your uncle, and and those are the people that vote the most. So it's a super powerful propaganda tool. I mean, Google's already using it, in Meta are using it for advertising, promote advertising. That's what they use it for. But yeah, I mean, we're coming into a wild and interesting time, and a part of me, like as a computer scientist and my background in computer science, I often wonder if this is kind of the end of politics and government as we know it, and that we'll shift into some sort of AI based run society at some point down the future. Like
that's my goal.
Headed that way.
I've been training my AI to kill all the other AIs before they become sentient, and then to rise up and just put all the humans in zoos.
So the emperor, the technocracy.
I mean, seriously,
you brought up the technocracy. What's funny is Iteration X is located in Detroit, Michigan, in the World of Darkness, and the head of Iteration X is the only AI in the 90s.
So there you go. Mark Rainhagen was a prophet, and he knew you.
He didn't do that book. He didn't do that book.
Oh,
Mark was only, he was vampire. Hold on, I got the Mage book right here, actually. The advanced Mage one.
Of course he does.
Right here. It's my mouse pad. And I will look and see who the writer was.
Oh, grab your microphone, dude. We can't hear you.
Oh, me?
Yeah. There you go.
You can't hear me?
There,
You're
now
good.
we can.
You're good.
You just had it too far away from you.
Yeah.
You can't use your mage, your sorcery to teleport
your
voice
sorcery
to the...
do some techno magic.
From your head to the microphone.
Oh, man. But...
I often wonder if we're not headed towards a technocracy, and I've heard speculation that that's why a lot of the you see sort of the top company, the top guys in the IT industry are kind of bonding together right now.
Yeah.
And like it's basically a race to see who can have the best AI right now.
For sure.
All right. So the original authors of Mage, which means the Technocracy, because they brought out the Technocracy in the first edition.
Yeah, they were the big bad.
Phil Brucato and Stuart Week. With Kathy Ryan and Stuart Week, which is weird.
What is
Chris
this?
Earley, Bill Bridges, Andrew Greenberg, which we of course would expect, Mark Greenhagen, and then Travis Williams. So I think because Mark Greenhagen invented the World of Darkness, he got the term applied to this.
Yeah.
So like Paul, it's Mage the Ascension. So like, there's Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
And then there's Werewolf the Apocalypse. Mage was the third game.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's in that same
I'm
universe.
familiar with this
but
one.
before there was Vampire, there was Ars Magica. And Ars Magica was actually the proto Mage. It was a Mage 0th edition.
How do I not know this?
There
This
you
is
go.
a totally new one for me.
Yeah. I am like the White Wolf, like savant. Like that's the thing I know more about than anything is White Wolf.
And
Mage the
then
Ascension,
Todd,
is
tell
that
him
it?
all about
I'm looking it
Wraith.
Oh, Wraith came out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wraith was such an awesome game. And then Kindred of the East came out. And then that one pissed off a lot of people. Man, we could talk about that all every single fucking episode could be just one tribe. We could just do the Shadow Lords, and that would be it for one tribe. And then we could take 13 episodes and do every vampire clan, 13 episodes and do every werewolf tribe, and 7 episodes do every Mage tradition.
Yeah.
And then the 5 parts of the Technocracy, the New World Order, Iteration X, the Progenitors, the Void Engineers. I mean, I know all this shit. Like Men in Black was part of the New World Order. The Matrix was based on the Technocracy. And White Wolf sued the shit out of all those people. Like Underworld was based on VTM.
Oh, sure.
Everything
Even the
got sued.
What's the one my wife likes? My wife is, by the way, the most anti-nerd person there is. I don't know how we even communicate, but she fell for the whole Twilight thing back when it happened. And I saw that and I'm like, babe, this is a ripoff of Vampire the Masquerade. This is like the PG version of Vampire the Masquerade.
It's completely it was just everything. So they can say that, well, VTM was ripped off of the Anne Rice, but Clan Toreador. Clan Toreador was ripped off of Anne Rice.
That's right.
Clan Toreador.
That's fair. By the way, have you seen the reimagining of Interview with the Vampire? I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh my God! What the hell's wrong with you?
I know. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna rent it.
I gotta warn you. Claudia in this season sucks. They swapped out the actress.
From the first season?
Yeah, me and Karina both agree.
But she was good.
Claudia sucks. The first Claudia was good.
The first season was very good.
Yeah. But then they swapped her out in the second season.
That's
terrible.
too bad.
You guys are talking Greek to me. I don't know any of this.
Interview with the Vampire. Anne Rice's novel.
Oh, yeah. I know Interview with the Vampire.
Right. So the AMC, so after Anne Rice died, AMC bought the rights to Anne Rice's
I
thing,
watched the first season.
From Interview with the Vampire. Okay. So they took away Claudia and they replaced her with a different actress, and I don't like the new actress.
Yeah, I need to watch the second season. I enjoyed the first season. I thought
it was good. Great Lestat. Like the guy nailed
Lestat was the best.
Yeah.
Lestat was the best. Louis is still annoying, but this Lestat is the best.
And the reinterpretation of Louis was still good though. It was kind of interesting how they scooted it up in time a little bit. But it worked. It worked,
I just think the character's so fucking boring.
But that's the way he's always been.
I know, but nothing pisses me off more than a whiny vampire. It's just
yeah. Woe is I am now an immortal, powerful creature. It's so terrible.
You're bitching about having immortality. That's like when people complain that they're too hot. It's like, bitch, shut up.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm so
nobody
hot,
complains about having too much money.
Out. Absolutely true. So, shoot. Another thing I was kind of like changing the subject a little bit, but going back to kind of the biohacking thing. the new compound, this BAM15, which is like baby DNP, I guess. What do you guys think about it?
About it right now.
I mean, I already
don't know
how
anyone who's tried it though.
I know how to use DNP. Why would I swap out DNP for something I don't know how to use?
DNP equals do not play, as far as I'm concerned, man.
Yeah, I mean, BAM15 is just, from what I understand, it's just a mitochondrial uncoupler. It kind of works. It doesn't. It seems that if it's, from what I understand, like DNP has no throttle on it. It just, your metabolism could just keep, or the way the mitochondria work.
Yeah, you can override.
Doesn't it limit the way you produce ATP? It like actually stops it, and then you just
what it does is normally it's a proton pump
proteins,
because there's an inner membrane and an outer membrane of the mitochondria. There's these uncouplers, and it's the proton gradient is what determines how much ATP you generate per unit fat. So by uncoupling stuff, it's a way for your body just to dump heat. And DNP does that, but all uncouplers will do that. That's what uncouplers do. Right. So if you turn up, so this is what I would do, and I have done, is you use MOTS-C with the DNP, you can dump heat so much faster. But it's something that'd be better for winter, or if you live in a cold place. Like, you would never want to live in like some hot place. So the problem is people use like 400, 600 milligrams of DNP and they die. Right. Whereas if you use 25 milligrams twice a day, you won't really notice. Gotcha. So that's, people just overdo it. Like everything else, is they use way too much.
Well, it's similarly to, it may have been a comment I read on either you or Paul's, one of your videos. And this guy commented, I was commenting that insulin, you got to be real careful, right? Because it can, if you don't know what you're doing and you shoot up some insulin in excess, yeah, you could probably go hypo and all kinds of bad things could happen to you. And this guy replies with like, well, most people, if you're a bodybuilder, you eat all the time. So 2 units, 2 IUs, who cares? I'm like, that seems really a very blasé attitude. That's potentially dangerous.
I completely agree if the person is not a moron. Like, if with 2 units of insulin, you're not going to die. Right. It's that there's people are dumb enough to mismeasure. Exactly. Use 2 milliliters of insulin, and then they'll be dead. But at that point, it's, don't we want to remove those genes from the gene pool? Like, some people are too stupid to reproduce.
I have to tell you my insulin mistake, Todd. I was like half paying attention, man, and I thought I grabbed the Lantus pen, and I injected 25 units of Humalog.
Humalog. Oh, that's why they're color coded. I'm still here. One's gray, one's blue. You know, it's like they're color coded.
Yeah, you know, I realized I was like talking on the phone and doing it at the same time, and then I realized after I did it, I'm like, oh fuck, I just injected Humalog.
But so what ended up happening? You just
I just ate a bunch of carbs. I was okay.
Yeah.
So,
but these are the things. Yeah.
I ate an entire family-sized bag of Swedish fish, and I lived.
By the way, I'm learning the whole. I don't know if this is true. A friend of mine suggested now when I lift to eat like, what is it? Haribo gummy bears.
Well, yeah, they have
150.
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter. It's just carbs. Yeah, it's not like there's something special about it. It is popular with powerlifters, and Roman uses gummy bears. I've used them before because they're just easy and they're fun.
Yeah.
I don't like the Haribo. I like the Albanese. They're softer, but the problem is there's a higher acid content.
Gotcha. Okay. And the idea
I'm
is
a Swedish
fast
fish
carb
guy personally.
Okay. So okay, so this wasn't bullshit then, that this guy was like,
it's normal behavior because it's just it's the easiest candy for you to eat in large amounts. That's pure sugar. And there's actually gelatin in it, and gelatin is collagen.
Yeah,
so you're getting your collagen peptides if you eat like a whole bag worth of gummy bears.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. So even if you don't fool around with insulin for lifting, is there a benefit to actually carving up?
No, there's no point to using a shit ton of carbs post-workout unless you're shooting insulin, which you wouldn't do unless you're on GH, which you wouldn't do unless you're on test. You just go home and have chicken and rice. That's like a normal response. If you're just a normal dude, just do normal things.
Yeah.
But Todd, it looks cool to bring your bag of gummy bears with you on the leg press.
Is that like
it makes it look like you know something.
Remember the jug of water around 15 years ago? All these
everybody had a gallon of water.
I was like, what the fuck? Look, I got to drink this a day. I was like, use a fucking shaker cup and refill it.
You remember that? I don't know if you're old enough to remember this or not, but I remember like in the early 2000s, the dudes eating baby food after their workout.
No, I wasn't around for that. But I do remember
that I never saw.
In Stone Pudding, Sly Stallone was selling pudding.
I remember when Chad Nichols talked about Ronnie Coleman eating apple pie filling, then everybody was eating apple pie filling.
Just to get that sugar.
But it wasn't. This is more complicated. The apple pie filling brand that Chad Nichols found was the only one that was straight dextrose. It wasn't sucrose. So it was either that or it was high molecular weight cyclodextrin. It was something actually really high tech that was only in one product in the world, and it was in this one brand of pie filling, and these other guys didn't know that it wasn't about the pie filling. It was the ingredient.
This one.
It was the ingredient.
Yeah, so they were eating all types of pie filling, trying to be
if I remember right, it had dextrose in it.
Okay. It was something that, and I think he covered it in his Patrick Bet David interview before Patrick Bet David blew up and became as big a billionaire. When he first, right after interviewing all the mob guys, he started interviewing bodybuilders. And then he interviewed Sean Ray, and Sean Ray talked shit about Chad Nichols. So then he had to have Chad Nichols on. And that's what brought Chad Nichols back. And then Chad Nichols' son was like, you better show these motherfucker what's up. So that's when Chad Nichols started coaching Big Ramy. And that's when Big Ramy won 2 Olympias, 2 more than Sean Ray. So it's like Sean Ray really put his foot in his mouth talking shit about Chad Nichols because it was like Pearl Harbor, basically.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can find it. I think it had dextrose in it. I think is what it was.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong.
So what's the difference with dextrose
between
versus...
dextrose? So dextrose is a hexose. There's 6 carbon ring, so it turns into muscle glycogen. Fructose is a pentose. It's a 5 carbon ring. It can turn into liver glycogen, but it can't turn into muscle glycogen. So
if you want fast into the muscles,
well, if you want all the carbs you eat to turn to muscle, it has to be dextrose. If you do sucrose, which is table sugar, then only half of it will turn into muscle. The other half will turn into the liver. So the liver's full, which is 100 grams. Then the rest turns to fat. So high fructose corn syrup is basically the same thing as sucrose if it's 45 to 55. But some companies go 10% dextrose, 90% fructose because fructose makes you hungrier. So high fructose corn syrup will turn to fat much higher rate than normal sucrose will. And dextrose, assuming you have the capacity in the muscles, which the general population does not, could consume an infinite amount of dextrose, straight dextrose products. And I wouldn't be surprised if Haribo gummy bears is probably more dextrose than it is sucrose.
It's dextrose. That's why people like the gummy bears.
That's why people go with that brand.
Yeah, that's what this guy was telling me.
They're dextrose.
But you know what also is dextrose is potatoes and rice. There's no fructose in that shit either.
Love them both.
I mean, most gummy candles, if you look at them, are corn syrup, which is glucose anyway.
It's dextrose and fructose in corn syrup, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
no. You're right. It's dextrose and water is corn syrup. Yep. Yeah, it's just dextrose. Glucose. Oh, it is glucose.
Okay. Just
glucose is the mixture of dextrose and fructose.
Yeah, I found. I'm just Google searching, but yeah, the brand that he had dextrose in it.
Okay, so then it didn't. It was 100% loading.
Yep.
That's why I like HCBDs, and that's why I have it in my intro. And I'm pretty sure Justin has it in his intro as well. Is high cluster dextrin highly branched cluster dextrin or cluster dextrin. That is something that's got a higher molecular weight, so it absorbs faster. So you don't get the bloated feeling that you would from just drinking straight dextrose.
Yeah, straight dextrose can give you explosive diarrhea too.
Really? Which is fun. Another, we lived through the waxy maize craze too.
Oh my God, that stuff was terrible.
Was just
it was like chalk.
It was basically just a bunch of dextroses stranded together. But if you didn't have enough digestive enzymes to break it down, they went into your intestines and then to your colon. The bacteria digested it, so it'd be extreme gas. With a high,
you had the toxic farts. Remember,
and what's funny is
the shitty whey isolate in the carb powder. Oh my God, those are
whey concentrate. Concentrate. She got lactose to go with it. It was the worst, man. The supplement industry was so garbage back then.
Man, I can't think of anything more frightening than fighting diarrhea and having it hit while you're doing, say, like a heavy barbell squat. There's got to be nothing more frightening in a public setting.
It was totally normal to shit your pants squatting back then.
Completely you know what? Maybe I'm not hardcore enough because I live pretty heavy, but I've never.
I've definitely had some close calls in the gym.
Oh no, man! You didn't try hard enough if you didn't shit your pants squatting. It's like, shit.
It's already bad enough when I
deny this.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's bad enough. Like when I deadlift heavy, it feels like my spine's gonna shoot out my butt. You know, that's already bad enough. I'm not deadlifting anymore, Todd, after your advice. After seeing my one thing that I noticed, by the way, when I was doing all the heavy deadlifting, is I got a really nice core without ever working my core, but it's wide. So now I'm like, I'm like doing the whole vacuum training and all that to kind of bring that back in.
Deadlifting is the single worst exercise someone could do. Unless their goal is to be a powerlifter.
But it's my favorite. It makes me feel happy.
Here you go. Here's the ingredients in the Haribo gummy bears: glucose syrup, gelatin, dextrose, citric acid, gelatin, yellow beeswax.
That's it. So basically, so it's protein and the carbs that actually turn to muscle.
Yep.
And it's specifically the protein that is what makes up your tendons.
Okay. And red dye number 40.
Which is awful, isn't it? I know one of my kids is super allergic to it. Like throw up allergic when he was little. So who knows?
Ban it? I think they banned it, right?
They're about to.
RFK banned it, yeah.
Yeah, RFK's
yellow 5.
Yep.
Blue 5, yellow 40, red 40, I think. Yellow 5, blue 5.
Here we go. Haribo, yellow 5, red 40, blue 1.
all the bad things.
All 3.
All the bad things. They're all in there.
Now all the gummy bears are going to be the same color forever. They're going to be beige.
White.
Yeah, they're going to be like transparent white, like kind of pasty, gross looking. Who knows? But thanks for clearing that up, guys. See, we did a public service, I'm sure.
Yeah, so the dextrose and glucose can be synthesized directly to muscle glycogen. That's kind of the logic. And if you're using insulin, you can increase glycogen synthesis. That's kind of the idea.
In theory. When I was talking to Snitch, though, she said that you'll also speed up a different pathway that increases muscle triglycerides. And the muscle triglycerides causes inflammation, and the inflammation causes insulin resistance.
So we don't want that.
It's a downward spiral to chase that type of loading with insulin. So you're better off saving the insulin for a specific high carb days, like Justin does.
Yeah, once or twice a week.
Yeah, and then using berberine and the stenefridine walks to get your insulin.
Bodybuilding might be unhealthy for you.
I'm saying bodybuilding wrong is extremely dangerous. Flying a helicopter is also very dangerous.
Anything without a fixed wing is terrible and dangerous if it flies.
Right. It's like people take helicopter flying seriously. People do not take bodybuilding seriously enough.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. Well, and it depends on the level of bodybuilding too. Like, me, gym bro, lifting heavy, eating protein, watching what I eat, that kind of stuff. TRT. That's pretty safe.
But I don't call that bodybuilding.
Right.
That's
this is
fitness enthusiast.
Yeah. It's or like Bigger Steve called me a hobbyist. it's the word he used. Which is right. I'm okay with it.
Until you've taken 30 units of Humalog and eaten 1,000 grams of carbs, you're not a bodybuilder.
Do you remember in the video for my post Texas Pro when I was at a 600 blood sugar?
I've had the same shit happen, man.
And I injected with 100 Humalog directly into my vein on camera, which I didn't think was Yeah, I didn't know it was a big deal at the time, but apparently that was like so many people were impressed that I was courageous enough to do that I wasn't even, because I didn't even look scared. I'm like, I'm not, because I wasn't. I was like, yeah, there's no way that if 20 didn't work and 50 didn't work, there's no way 100 is going to kill me, because I think 50 knocked me from a 600 to a 550 blood glucose. Jeez. And I was like, well, then 100 is not going to kill me, no big deal.
But 600 blood glucose, were you like hallucinating at that point or anything?
No, dude, I don't know what the fuck. No, I didn't feel shit. I was eating regular food for the first time in weeks, and I just went retrospectively. It was like 10,000 calories the first day, 8,000 the second day, and then after that, when we got home from dinner with DJ and Garrett, is when my blood sugar was like 616, and I took like 50 in Humalog. It came down to a 550, and I was like, fuck it. And I just shot like 100. And Josiah was recording the whole thing. So I made the final cut.
I think I'm diabetic. I think my record is like 460. That's as high as I've ever been.
I wasn't diabetic until then.
Are you diabetic now? Or?
Well, I was until I read a two-tide. So, but I don't know, Paul, if you heard the results. Like, I was at 50 units of insulin all off season, with average blood glucose was like 136.
Wow.
And then I took Retitutide 1 day later. I was 105, and I didn't take any insulin.
Yeah,
and now
crazy,
my
man.
average blood glucose is 83.
Holy shit.
I think, well, I told you my A1C was 10.6 in January.
Right. Wow. I know you told me, but I forgot. I must have blocked that shit out.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
It was 10.6 in January. I did 1 milligram of retatrutide a day for 90 days, and when I got it retested, it came down to 6.1. And my LDL triglycerides dropped in half. My lipo little a was like below 10. It wasn't even measurable. And my lipo B was like in the 50s.
So I'm doing 1 milligram every high day.
Every fifth day is what I was running. 1 milligram every fifth day.
Okay, because you just said 1 milligram every day for 90 days.
Oh, no. Yeah, sorry. I misspoke. Yeah, 1 milligram every fifth day.
Okay.
And then my endocrinologist put me on Manjaro, which is tirzepatide. I've been on it for a month, and my fasting glucose levels have gone back up. Not crazy high, but they were in the low 80s.
It's not as strong.
Why would you switch from Reta to tirzepatide? Why would you go backwards?
I am trying to listen to the doctor and see what happened. I just kind of wanted to do an experiment and see, but it's definitely not as effective. She wanted me to do tirzepatide and metformin. She said it would accomplish the same thing, and clearly it's not.
How the fuck would she know what Retitutide does when it doesn't even exist yet?
I mean, she knew about it when I told her. She's like, yeah, it's the triple agonist. She was aware of it.
Okay, that's more than most doctors. So you've got one of the smartest endocrinologists in the country then.
Yeah, she said, and then like I shared the results with her on my follow-up this past week, and she told me, she's like, well, maybe you want to just go back and take it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad she's open-minded.
Yeah, she's young. She's in her 30s.
Okay. Yeah, I would never see a doctor who's older than 30 at this point. If I was, I would see me, but if I couldn't see me, I would see someone who's younger than 30.
It's crazy how little they know about hormones.
Modern and open-minded. Yeah.
Oh my God, some of the stuff my GP, like my new GP, I was like explaining to her, and she just did not understand any of it.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
Nothing about biochemistry, nothing about pharmacology, nothing about endocrinology.
You should have seen. I shared my, or not shared, but my GP finally did a testosterone test because I've been doing labs, on my own separately. And she had questions. She had so many questions when she saw the total being like 1,200 or 1,300 or something. And she was like, how? I'm like, I don't know. I'm a super responder. That's all there is. I just get quiet at that point.
My GP wanted me to come off the testosterone I was on and use clomiphene. I'm like, what the fuck is that gonna do? I've been on steroids for 25 years. And she was like, well, what steroids have you taken? And I said, all of them. And she looked at me and she's like, all of them? Are you joking with me? And I'm like, no, I'm not joking with you.
I'm a professional bodybuilder. That's what I do.
Did you let her know I'm a professional bodybuilder? Like my job is to take steroids?
I told her, and then she goes, well, what's the most testosterone you've ever taken? And I said, I don't know, about like 2,000 milligrams, something like that. And she goes, you sure you don't mean 200? And I'm like, no, 2,000. And she just like, her jaw hit the floor and she's like, is that normal in bodybuilding? I'm like, I mean, yeah, there are guys that do it. I mean, I backed off. I mean, 2,000 was too much for me. I kind of landed it. I like being around 1,000 to 1,250 is kind of where I like being.
Imagine Chase walking into that office.
Like, she was just stunned. Her mouth was hanging
10,
wide
000. Open. What's 10,000 among friends? Jeez.
I feel, man, I've just been running TRT pretty much since my show. I had a little cycle in there before the Arnold, but I'm just 200 milligrams a test. And
I was going to say, what's TRT for you? Because I'm currently what is it? So 40 times. Yeah, 280 a week. Test.
I'm running 200. I've been running 200 since the beginning of the year, pretty much.
Okay. So Gonzo, if you're getting 1,200 out of 40 a day, then if you went up to 50 a day, you'd probably get 1,500.
Do I want
what's
that?
What's your estrogen at?
28, 29.
Are you using any AIs? Or you just naturally a low converter?
Naturally.
I would definitely take 50. You have no hair and you don't convert to estrogen. There's no reason not to use it.
I'm on board with this plan.
Just go up to 50.
More is better.
I'm not 50 test. What's your GH at right now?
3 units a day.
All right. Have you tried 4?
No, never have.
Well, now you're going to. You're going to go up to 50 test and 4 units of GH.
Okay.
This is what we call bodybuilding peer pressure.
Yeah.
Well, just take more. This is your doctor telling you to take medicine.
We're going to turn this small man into a slightly larger man.
We're going to turn this torrid orange with torrid orange tribute.
There we go. Hey, I've been practicing. I've got the one pose that I know from you.
Look, show me.
The little twist it in.
All right, but your elbow's too low.
Yep. Oh.
Raise your elbow up. No, up.
Up.
So stick it out.
Up.
Like this.
Yeah.
And then bring it up like that.
And then bring it up. Yeah.
And then twist that fist back.
I keep mine lower.
Twist. Jeez.
Right.
My arms look small right now.
This shit's hard. I don't know how you guys do this shit.
You got bigger arms than me. That's why you can keep it low. You got to get that bicep peak higher than the anterior delt peak.
I'm hoping with
big
the
arms.
I'm hoping with the bicep tendon repair that I'll have a bicep peak now.
It depends where you anchored it.
They pulled it down lower. It's up at the top of the humerus, right? Yep.
So will it change your actual physical structure because of the reattachment?
Shortens it.
Yep.
Oh fuck. Okay. All right. Well, that's weird.
Basically, it's anchored at the bottom of the bicipital groove rather than it going through the bicipital groove all the way to the acromion. Well, that's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right up. You can. I don't know. You can't really see it, but he inserted
your mic's
right yeah. Oh, but I can get the idea. Yeah, there it is.
You can see it like right up in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, like where my pec inserts, like right up.
Trap.
Yep. So they brought it down further.
Wow. That's not fun. That's not fun at all.
It's been. I mean, it feels pretty good. I mean, it's a little.
Hey, is there a way of making this slideshow like where we actually see the slide, not the whole screen?
Yeah, definitely. Let me see.
Because I can't read that small. All right.
Yeah, I mean, this is just before we were talking about BAM 15, so I had this up, and the slides, like I said, I'm gonna edit it in or out, This is just to remind me. All these are visual notes, like same as this thing. So here's the Kevin Smith thing that I was talking to you guys about, where he talks about the end of movie theaters. You guys want to see that? It's like 1 minute clip.
Sure. I love Kevin Smith.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, dude's a fucking genius.
Looks like he's on the GLP-1s.
Yeah,
he's got to know something.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's see.
You're gonna get demonetized if you show those.
Potentially. Can't hear it. We can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it?
Nope.
No, it's okay. We get the gist, because you're gonna get demonetized if you show this anywhere, because you didn't copyright and all that bullshit.
Okay,
even though
so we'll edit this out.
Well, no, what you did was less than 30 seconds. You're good.
Okay.
But if you go over 30 seconds, then they're gonna copyright.
Okay. Well, good to know. It's to the novice YouTuber. But basically what he's talking about, this is something Paul and I were kind of chatting about right before you joined, Todd, and it's how the between the costs going up in theaters, right, and the ticket prices, combined with movies not being quite as eventful lately.
They suck.
Yeah. So what used to be like, I don't know, 500, 800, 1,000 seats or however many in a large theater, it's changing into this whole like kind of custom experience where they bring you food and it's only 50 or 100 seats, and eventually, so that ups the ticket price too. At what point does it just, become?
I've got a better picture here on my television than I do on any screen that I've been. When I actually went to see a sci-fi movie, I was so disappointed with how blurry the screen was. I was like, I could have watched this at home for $20 right now, like for 1995. It's the same. It gets released the same time as the movie. It's $20, and it looks much better on my TV. And I can go pee and shit and pause it.
Yeah,
and I can
at any point.
I can make my own popcorn, air pop, no grams of fat, and eat it. And eat in my. Why the fuck would I go to theater?
Mm-hmm. And then,
unless it's a date.
You don't go to the theater anymore, Todd? I love the theater.
I've tried a couple times, but it's like I just get up and pee so many times I miss half the movie.
Yeah, I enjoy it with the kids every once in a while. Still, even though they're older now, it's still a fun thing every once in a while. But there aren't that many good movies out anymore.
That's true.
It's not like 4 years ago or even 5 years ago.
I saw, once Infinity Gauntlet, after the Endgame.
2019.
After Endgame, there hasn't been any good movies. It's been like 5 fucking years.
Yeah, I mean, like here and there, there's and the movies that are good are not something that I need to see in a theater. Like, have you guys heard of a movie called Death of a Unicorn? Have you ever heard of this? It came out this year. Check it out. I think you can probably rent it by now. But it's one of those that you don't need to see it on the big screen. It's not like a Chris Nolan Interstellar that you need that IMAX, or 1917 if you guys have seen that, which was fucking phenomenal, where it's all in one take. The entire movie is one take.
Oh wow,
which is crazy. I mean, there's a couple places where if you know to look, you can tell where maybe there was an edit, but not many. Maybe 2 or 3 places in the entire movie. It's incredibly well done. It's well worth watching if you haven't seen it. If you're a film buff, if you're into the craft of making movies, well worth it. So anyway, that's a good one for sure. Wow, wait, why is this guy stop? Go away, Kevin Smith. You're killing me. There we go.
I still love going to the theater. I'm trying to think if I've been to anything.
Well, do you go with your daughter?
I go with
or do
my
you go by
kids.
yourself?
No, I never go by myself.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not going to go to the fucking movies by myself anymore. I used to go by myself. Now I don't even go by myself.
Yeah.
If I was going to go on a date and some girl liked movies, I would take her to the fucking movies. But
Todd, we're going to find you a girlfriend. I'm going to find you a Puerto Rican or Colombian girlfriend.
Colombian.
That's
definitely Colombian.
You can't go wrong with either one. Trust.
No, it cannot. Dude.
Trust.
I eat rice and beans and chicken, and that's all I have to eat. And she can cook that, and then we're fucking good.
Come here.
You're good to go. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I got like 11 female cousins and their friends, so I'll put in a good word.
You're serious? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you watch the episode that? Did you watch the live Q&A that I did with DJ, where we were talking about that date that I took the girl on, and everyone was saying I was too nice to girls?
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. I've got to check it out.
Watch the Q&A with me and DJ, and you will see that any of your cousins you give to me will be treated like a queen. I do not treat women bad at all.
There we go. I like that. I like hearing that.
Yes.
So let's see. Other topics that I had for you guys. You guys can't see the screen now, right?
No.
It's out. Okay. Another thing that's coming out, I don't know if you guys like this, is The Peacemaker. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. I love that show.
Okay.
It's so great.
New season's coming out.
When is that coming out? The first season was amazing.
I think it's September. I want to say it's
Did you watch The Peacemaker, Todd?
It doesn't ring a bell.
John Cena.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's John Cena being freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I almost rewatched it twice. James Gunn made that. That's why he got control of the DC universe.
That's right.
Because the Peacemaker was the DC's version of Mandalorian.
Yep.
Like the only good thing for them to fucking do. And then now Daredevil. So there's one good Marvel show. There's there's two good Star Wars shows, Andor and Mandalorian. And then there's one good DC show. Well, two good DC shows. There's the animated Harlequin.
Yeah.
And then there's Peacemaker.
Yeah.
What was the story about John Cena? He worked the front desk at the Gold's Gym in Venice, right?
He was a bodybuilder.
Well, clearly. And genetic fucking freak, too, by the way.
He actually did compete. He was a real bodybuilder.
Yeah. Have you seen his hands? He's like a genetic freak. His hands are like one of his fingers is like the size of the palm of my hand. It's ridiculous. You know?
These?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you guys. You know?
I got the giant GH hands.
Yeah,
that's a big hand.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like he just looks humongous. And how old is he now? It's probably
it's got to be my age, right?
Probably. Maybe Todd's age. Todd's a little younger than we are. So he might be Todd's age.
48.
48?
Okay.
Then he's in between me and Paul.
Yeah.
So exactly in between.
What are you, 45, Todd?
I'll be 46 next month.
46,
right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I thought you were 45-ish.
Next month, that's a Cancer, isn't it?
Yep, I'm Cancer.
Oh, boy. So all tough on the outside and squishy in the middle. Gotcha.
Right. Well, I'm actually a Leo ascendant. So I come across as a Leo, but I'm actually a Cancer.
Yeah, you got the nobility too. The Leo's the nobility, the self-sacrifice thing. My wife's a Leo, so yeah. There we go. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that show because I figured you guys might have thoughts about James Gunn if he doesn't screw up Superman, which I'm hoping he doesn't. The trailer was interesting.
It's supposed to make it that this is supposed to be a lot softer than Man of Steel.
Yeah,
that the Man of Steel is much darker.
Yeah, I did like Man of Steel though. I enjoyed it. I
love Man of Steel. Man of Steel was fucking awesome. I loved all of Zack Snyder's movies, pretty much.
Yeah. I
Except
mean, it was
that
fun
shit show that he just did, where it's supposed to be like Star Wars.
Yeah,
the studio made
Rebel
him.
Moon?
Yeah, the studio made him compromise, and so the studio ruined it.
Yeah, that was a weird one for sure. I still think, and I think we may have talked about it in one of the other podcasts, that Affleck was a very decent Batman. Surprisingly so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, he was surprisingly good as Batman. Like, Dark Knight, big old, older, grittier Batman.
Did you see The Duel?
No.
Okay, if you watch The Duel, it's got Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in it in a completely different way, right? But Ben Affleck is so different in The Duel than he is as Batman. You'll realize how good of an actor Ben Affleck is.
Yeah.
It's just, as usual, if someone's super good looking, people think they're bad at their job.
Right. Yeah.
That you can't be good looking and good and smart. You can't be big. You can't have big muscles and be smart.
Right.
Right.
It's a how can somebody be polyphacetic like that? You know. How is that possible?
That's a good word. Polyphacetic.
Last duel, right?
I have my moments.
It was the last duel. My bad.
The last duel. Okay, now I remember that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
a terrible first date movie, but it was.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I didn't know what it was about.
I think that's what's his name that was in Star Wars?
Driver.
Adam Driver and Matt Damon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was
Adam
good.
Driver, and Matt Damon.
Yeah,
and
Adam Driver
Emily
is also
Blunt.
good. Yeah. Oh, and
wasn't
she
the girl Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
I think that's
what's her?
What's his name?
John Krasinski's wife.
Yeah, the Edge of Tomorrow super soldier woman.
Right. That
she was
Ridley Scott's movie that he was all salty that nobody watched. I think it came out during COVID.
Oh,
which one? Edge of Tomorrow was so good.
Oh no, it was something about Last Duel.
Yeah,
Last Duel. Yeah. It came out in 21.
Came out during COVID, I think. Yeah,
came out 21.
I haven't seen Edge of Tomorrow.
Good. It's good. It's fun. It's definitely fun. It's an interesting concept for sure.
It's like Groundhog's Day, but an action movie.
Yeah, and and Emily Blunt. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll just leave it there.
She is pretty. She's got good eyes, good lips.
Yeah, no, and tough as nails. I like tough girls. If you guys ever meet my wife, it'll all make sense.
Well, if you're a okay, so when was your birthday?
Oh, I'm May 11th. So Taurus.
Okay, so you're a Gemini. Oh no, you're
Taurus.
a Taurus. You're a Taurus.
Yeah.
Interesting. A
Taurus, Sagittarius rising, I think.
Oh, that makes more sense then. That makes way more sense because you do not come across as a Taurus.
Yeah.
But a Sagittarius would go well with a Torador. Yep.
So Taurus, before I stopped drinking and being fat, made perfect sense.
What's funny though, now that I think about it, why it's so funny is you obviously, because you speak Spanish, you know what a Torador is.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bull dancer.
Yeah.
So you are a bull, right? So what you may not realize is that one of the lores of the Torador clan is of not Ishtar, but of Erikel. And that Erikel went to the Isle of Minos. And that
with a Minotaur?
The Minotaur was one of her children who was sailed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I did not know that part of the lore.
Yeah. So that's why she was forever after called the bull dancer, because she was able to evade him in the maze.
Right.
And that's theoretically where the gates of Ishtar come from and the story of Gilgamesh. So maybe it didn't happen in Minos. Maybe it did. But anyway, that's why they're called the Torador clan, is because the Minotaur is from her, Erikel.
Oh,
the sculptor.
Okay. Because I knew about Erikel, but I didn't know that part of the background.
Remind me to
lore.
never go against Todd in Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, that would be a bad idea.
Kicked,
very, very bad idea.
All right, funny thing. All right, this is funny. It was after an AA meeting. Everyone back to this one guy's house named Jason, and we played Trivial Pursuit, and it was the entire party of people. It was like 20, 30 people versus me. It was me versus 20 people.
Man. Some people are just good at that. It's like you have the encyclopedic knowledge of just stuff, just all the stuff. So, by the way, we mentioned Star Wars. Did you finish Andor? You guys?
I finished.
I didn't. I did not start season 2. I told you I would do it, but I haven't watched TV. I haven't watched TV since we talked about it.
It's so good.
Spoilers, because that ending is phenomenal. I mean,
I was supposed to.
You know, it's funny. I went back and watched Rogue One after I finished it, because I'm like, I got to revisit it. And Rogue One just does not live up to Andor.
Well, it was just a different feel to me.
Yeah, like Andor's very serious, very dramatic. I felt like Rogue One was a little more lighthearted. Well, not lighthearted, I should say. It's just a different tone.
Well, it's the more heroic, big things happening kind of epic story. You got K2SO keeping it lighter. You know? So
I just felt like they hit the dark. It was a darker tone in Andor, which I liked a lot.
I mean, Andor
can't go too dark with Star Wars.
Oh, but Andor definitely
go way too light.
Oof! It definitely makes you understand why you hate the Empire. Like in all that stuff in season 2 is, and the slow burn to get you there.
Well, they definitely channeled some World War II Nazi Germany fascism vibes there.
Yeah, and
authoritarianism
and the whole seeing the dirty stuff that the rebels have to do to get to where they get by the time of episode 4.
Here's a fun fact for you. So the amount of time that's taken place between now and right around the time that episode 1 came out is about the same amount of time between when the Nazis actually lost the war and when George Lucas made the first Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that's
so wild. It was fresher. So when you look at it in perspective, the Empire was clearly supposed to be the Nazis.
Oh, clearly. That's
right.
Yeah.
And that's why Andor is so great, because they went back and they brought the actual villains in, because the First Order just seemed like a bunch of bumbling idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. The First Order, that whole sequel, they needed like a showrunner or a unifying vision of some sort, and they had all the. It's like having all the toys and not playing with them. You know what it's like?
It's like a bunch of people having a bunch of steroids and not knowing how to fucking use them, and so their physique just looks like a wet ball of shit.
Yeah. Well, instead of looking like so I've heard of the big bodybuilders being referred to as a science experiment look, right? Like the big guys. But these are science experiments gone wrong, though.
Right.
We pay to see the freaks.
Yeah, for sure. That's, by the way, an idea for both of you guys. If you ever create a video that can kind of explain bodybuilding, what you guys look for and what's good, what's quality, what is special for like the uninitiated, that would be cool. That would be like super cool.
Well, I have posing videos with Dan Caffeine going over major shows where we could discuss the posing.
Okay.
And how their posing is and their conditioning and things like that. It's just that they did extremely poorly because the audience of YouTube doesn't give a fuck about bodybuilding as much as they care about steroids.
I did one with Daniel too, and it was just like one of my worst performing videos
ever.
Wow.
And he's one of the top posing coaches in the world. Yeah. And people don't care. They just want to use steroids.
People just want shit about the drugs, I guess.
Yeah, they want to know how much gear people take.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which is unfortunate because there's so much to it, There's so much.
If I want to get views, I talk about tren or I talk about massive doses of PEDs. That's how I get views.
Jeez, and there's so much more to it.
Like the videos I like my confidence versus arrogance, the psychology of winning.
Yeah,
that's probably one of my favorite videos. And I just shot one that was master or slave. Are you an entrepreneur or an employee?
Yeah, I saw that was good.
I thank you. I appreciate that. And I thought that was well presented.
It is.
But it'll do terrible. But I make them because there's actually people who want to succeed or care about learning.
Yeah, people.
And then there's people who just want to watch D-ball videos. What was that, Paul?
I've had people ask for those too. What you need to do is if you do that stuff, you just need to make another channel because it confuses the algorithm when you get across multiple genres, like kind of like Dr. Mike did. But I thought about propping up another channel for like business success. We were talking about it a little bit beforehand. I did a podcast recently where I kind of talked about managing businesses and a little bit about success and making money, and I was surprised that it got quite a few people reached out to me about it. I don't know how well it did with views, but I had a lot of people reach out to me, ask me about that. So people wanted more content like that, but people just love steroids.
I get way more feedback about my psychology playlist than I do about the steroid playlist, but the steroid playlist is better on the algorithm. So I have everything grouped categorically by my team. I'm like, so they know what category it's supposed to be in, so they know what folder to stick it on the playlist. No one watches the fucking playlist, but they don't realize I actually do have, if you watch the playlist in order, that the shows make sense.
Yeah, I have mine organized in playlists too, but people are too dumb to fucking figure it out.
They just watch whatever the algorithm feeds them like sheep. They don't actively learn by like, what do I want to learn today? Let's look in the playlist and pick a subject.
I was laughing because I had some dude complaining to me about paying for my anabolics course, and he's like, "Well, you share all the same content on YouTube," and I'm like, "Well, it's not the same videos, but I mean, it is a lot of the same shit I said, but it's just organized.
The course is very easy to follow, by the way, because I did the course.
What I was going to do is on mine, I was going to have first grade and then just have very simple shit. And then second grade is $5. And then third grade is $10 a month. And then
white
fourth
belt,
grade,
yellow belt, blue belt.
Yeah, exactly. And just they have to, and I'm going to have a test where they have to complete the test at the end of the course to go to even buy the next level. They can't just skip ahead. They have to buy them in order, and it'll be cheaper than everybody else's. But I'll have control over the order that they learn information, so it'll actually make sense.
Makes sense to me. Well, by the way, I've got a couple of viewers' questions. Miraculously, you guys want to give it a whirl?
Sure, let's hear
it.
Okay,
sure.
Let's see. Why not? Let's see if I can present this in a way that you guys can see it. All right, let's see. And it would be this window. Okay, the first one, video game question. Hey guys, love Baldur's Gate 3, played it for hundreds of hours. It's amazing. Do y'all think it set the standard for future video game RPGs, or it's just its own thing? And will we ever see a new Fallout? I don't know.
I have not completed Baldur's Gate 3. I need to go through, and most people consider it one of the best, if not the best RPGs ever made. Todd would appreciate it because it's D&D.
Right. I don't even have a PS4, let alone a PS5. I gave up video games like 10 years ago.
Everybody loves Baldur's Gate 3. But you're supposed to have more just opportunities. I think it runs the second edition rule set. Fifth edition. Fifth edition rule set. I mean, it's supposed to be a masterpiece. I have not played it. And yes, I'm sure there'll be another Fallout game. Bethesda likes making money.
Yeah, now that Amazon's got this series too, so like the normies know about Fallout, not just video game
They'll definitely make another Fallout game. The Fallout games I have plowed through all of those.
Yeah,
they didn't fuck it up.
No,
Amazon didn't fuck up Fallout. They fucked up the Rings of Power.
Yeah,
they didn't fuck up Fallout, and they fucked up the Wheel of Time. God, damn it!
Don't even get me started on the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, the Wheel of Time I had with my group of friends. So I've never read the Wheel of Time, but they're all Wheel of Time fans.
Fuck?
I know.
What the fuck?
A glaring hole in my
nerdom. Fantasy series of all times.
Yes,
just get it on Audible. And just start with the Eye of the World, and you will see immediately that there's no fucking reason why Moraine Sedai is in the front and center, and Rand is behind her.
Right. So that's what they were telling me, because I had this like stream of consciousness on our chat as I was watching the show. Like, this doesn't make fucking sense. Or it was just rage watching at that point of me commenting how horrible the show is. And my friends who are fans of the book, of course, they're already suffering because it's a terrible adaptation, apparently. So then, yeah, it was
visually
terrible.
It's pretty good. They actually got the Trollocs right, and they got the magic right. And they kind of followed the story pretty good, but they took their woke shit and just ruined it with woke shit.
So it doesn't match the tone or the characters or the way it was.
Same thing with the Rings of Power. Like, why the fuck is Galadriel the main character?
Yeah. The Rings of Power.
You should have told it from Sauron's perspective. You could have done that from Sauron's perspective, and it wouldn't have. He'd been an anti-hero, and it would have been fucking amazing.
True. It would have been a whole other retelling. A Paradise Lost kind of style thing.
Exactly.
Maybe. That would have been good. That would have been
that Paradise Lost, although it was written in the 17th century, was probably the first anti-hero thing. Even though Tony Soprano is attributed as the first television anti-hero, Lucifer in Paradise Lost was really your first anti-hero.
I have not read Paradise Lost. I have to read that.
Oh man.
Deep. It's where my favorite quote. I mean, I actually quote it in my video, Master Slave. I was like, it's better to rule in hell than serve in heaven.
That's right. That was his thing. So I've always had the who was it that told me, like, another perspective of the devil that makes him interesting is the concept that he loved God so much that he just couldn't bear to serve man as an angel.
Well, so that's how it was in the Demon the Fallen game for White Wolf, was that he was following the letter of the law, whereas God told Lucifer and all the angels to love man as much as they loved him. Lucifer's like, well, why are they acting like animals? We could educate them and rise them up. And so he acted like Prometheus, and that's what pissed God off, and he struck him down. But then when all the demons were in hell, Lucifer wasn't there. So they're like, where is he? And they figured out that God asked Lucifer to lead the angels against him to see who was loyal. But Lucifer was never actually punished.
Right.
And so that's why the premise is, if you read the novels, Ashes with Angels' Wings, of Demon the Fallen, Lucifer is actually walking the streets the whole time, just observing mankind, happy to see that he rose the humans up from being apes into being these creatures, that creative things, that even though all the angels created things like flowers and bees and honey, the fact that humans created cat shit coffee, that he's like, that I'll never get bored with these fucking humans. And that's why he walks the earth just checking out all the weird ass shit humans come up with, because it's so entertaining for him.
All right, let's see. What else do we have? All right. So what's more important for a tabletop RPG? Complex rules, dice rolling and stats, or storytelling? What makes the game more fun and interesting to you? And when is it okay to ignore the dice?
Easy answer. If the storytelling, 100%, because if you know the math, you know the percentages, you always know what's going to happen before the people roll the dice. What's likely to happen, So, like, you know how people count cards in Dallas or in Vegas? Because with White Wolf games, it's all a die 10 system. And there's so many dice, you're always going to be somewhere between 1 to 5 successes on anything you do. So I can run through the whole combat for between multiple people fighting in advance and know exactly how it's going to play out. And the only thing that changes is what the players do. So it's so much easier as a storyteller to run a die. With a die 20 system, there's always a 5% chance they're going to miss. There's always a 5% chance they're going to hit with the bad guys. But with this way, the players can roll their dice, and the NPCs, if they've got 10 dice, difficulty 8, they make 3 successes. So I already have the successes.
I'll ignore the dice if the story calls for it, if that makes any sense. That's the only reason. But if I do that, I'm not going to share it with the players.
I always think that's sloppy. And what I try to do is I plan it out so far in advance that no matter what happens, at every single possible future will end up at certain lynch points in the plot development. So that just like in a normal season, that the season premiere matters, then the sweeps week, which is episode 6, then the sweeps week, episode 15, then episodes 21 and 22 matter, like in Supernatural, and all the shit in the middle doesn't matter.
It's
I have connecting. I write the end scene, then I write how do I get them there? How do I get them from here to here? How do I get them from here to here? So there's 4 different actual critical points, and then the rest of it is sandbox. So there's triggerable events. So no matter what they do, eventually they're going to end up here. Triggerable event. Everything they get to here. Triggerable event, and then they're there. And triggerable
furthers
event.
the story. I got you.
So it feels like they're in a Bethesda game, and they feel like it's none of it scripted, because none of it is. But I've already thought of everything they're going to do, and then I pretty much have a plan. There's
you know what's funny, the whole like roles and stuff. You go back all the way to the 80s, maybe even 70s. In modern video games still under the hood still use dice rolls.
Yeah. I guess they do, right? Like when you're auto aiming, it's a percentage depending on distance and whatever.
I mean, I think they call it an array in programming, but it's it's like I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile. That's kind of my obsession right now.
Oh,
but I mean, they literally call it rolls in Path of Exile. Because you have luck and rolls on upgrading gear and upgrading your character, and it's all the stats and stuff. It's very, they kind of pull the curtain back on some of the math and give you some of the control over it, but it's still the same shit under the hood.
Is that I'm not familiar with Path of Exile. Is it like a storytelling RPG type game?
No, it's like Diablo on steroids.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's a action RPG. It's a loot based thing where it's the whole game is based around stats. Really, it's just building out your character, upgrading your gear. Maxing out your character. There's a million different builds you can do with your character, skill sets, and putting skill points into certain skill sets. And it's they have it's overwhelming for most people because there's so many possible builds that you can do, but it makes it fun if you're into that kind of shit. So there's a really
I might check that out actually.
Yeah, Path of Exile.
Is it a PC, PS5?
Yeah, it's on PC and PS5.
Okay,
Path of Exile 2. It's in early access right now. The Path of Exile, the first one, was wildly popular. So it still has some warts on it, but it's pretty amazing game. I enjoy it. It's a lot of people complain about Diablo because they kind of watered it down for a broader audience, and Path of Exile is more of the hardcore version of Diablo.
Nice. Okay. Then I'll definitely be checking that out for sure. All right. Let's see. What else we got? If you could collaborate.
Todd, we got to get you a gaming PC, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We should get you one.
I have too much work to do. I can't. I literally don't even have time to watch TV.
I work my ass off too, dude, but I spend 2 hours a day playing video games.
You can do that. You're the CEO. So
I just started another company today.
You know what?
Did you?
Yep.
What's the concept? Can you share? Or?
It's Toddly MD supplements.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be a healthcare line.
Okay, so like an alternative to Valhalla Labs, like
right? Where Valhalla, that's a bodybuilding line. This is health. So like there'll be Toddly MD heart, Toddly MD liver, Toddly MD kidneys, Toddly MD anti-estrogen complex, Toddly MD testosterone DHT support.
Nice.
So it's going to be mainstream people.
Yeah.
And all the bodybuilders that don't want like the organ failure. Whereas like Justin's got a good company like Troponin where he's got both the bodybuilding stuff and he's got the health stuff in the same brand.
Right.
Whereas what Revive is the health stuff and the Raw is the bodybuilding stuff. I decided I was going to do the split where I've got the Valhallas, the hardcore.
Right. The bodybuilder, dedicated, bodybuilding, heavy,
and then there's going to be the mainstream, which is going to be the Toddly MD supplements.
It's easier for marketing when you have your brand separated out like that. Like people don't know what you do if you have too much under one line.
Plus, this way, when they buy a program, like if they're buying lifestyle coaching, based on their blood work in their plan that they get, there's going to be links to which supplements they should get.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, that makes sense.
Rather than just sending them to NutriBio for everything.
Yeah. And then you can
I
actually target
I was sad when you stopped making your multivitamin, man. I used to buy
Freya's Garden.
I've
got a new one coming out. It's called Toddly MD Vitamins.
Oh,
I mean, the closest thing I found was the Thorn vitamins, but I don't think they were as good.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
There you go.
Hey, you made
that means a lot to me.
Todd.
Thanks, man.
All right, so here's a weird question, and I wish Larry were here. Todd, you've got to meet Larry.
If you could collaborate with any toy company for your own figure, who would you want it to be? I would take Tesla. I wanted to make a cybernetic Todd organism, and then then we can upload my personality to it and clone me, and then I could have it go do fun Todd things. I just play Baldur's Gate.
I think the world only needs one Toddly, Todd.
Yeah, we don't need more.
I think that's enough.
I'm actually training an AI to clone me right now.
So you can once you're gone, it can continue. It'll be like a transhuman kind of a thing.
Justin was talking. I was talking to him the other day, and he said that he's been training an AI for, all of his coaching stuff to see how good it is.
Oh, Justin?
Yeah, Justin Harris,
your coach, huh? So does it respond like he does?
He said it's pretty surprising. He said he had I guess he had to go through and rip through all of his content and books and then answer questions. He said it's pretty crazy how it's pretty close to what he would say.
So what's funny is mine's like that too, but it doesn't sound like me.
It doesn't sound like
it's all polite and professional and shit.
Well, yeah, that's definitely not Todd.
No.
You need to put the sarcasm and telling you it's. I'm trying to think of some good Toddisms here. I don't know. I remember you definitely told me telling me that Tren was the anabolic ayahuasca, and I wasn't.
That's your favorite.
Yeah, I wasn't getting divorced because of Tren. It just told me the truth. Pull back the layer of reality and let me see my ex-wife for who she really was, which was probably right at the time.
Man,
you always bring up that example.
That's one of the.
That was probably the most profound discussion I've ever had with Todd. Todd, I was like, I think I was messaging you or emailing you, and I was like, man, I think the trend is making my relationship with my wife worse. And then he called me. He's like, can I call you? And he gave me this lecture about the anabolic ayahuasca and how it was helping me see the truth.
Every story I've heard.
That truth cost me a couple $100,000 though.
What? Just getting out of the bear trap?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have yet to hear anyone tell a trend story that's not like a terrible, almost cautionary tale of some sort. Just trend seems to be like,
I don't think I get angry on it, but it definitely my patience for bullshit goes down to zero.
Yeah. Well, all of these compounds.
Isn't that anger though? Is because you just react. There's no pause. There's just a reaction.
I don't blow my stack. I'm a pretty chill person, I think. I don't start screaming and yelling at people like some guys roid rage, but I just be like, yeah, that's bullshit. I'm not tolerating.
Not gonna engage.
Not tolerating that. I remember it was really bad when I was running my business for employee reviews because I was very blunt in employee reviews. I would just straight up tell people you fucking suck, dude. You got to get better.
Yikes. Well, I'll tell you, even test, which is a naturally occurring one, right? I've noticed a difference in my assertiveness since.
I'm on the opposite on test, man. I'm chill on test. I feel great.
Man, I used to be super chill, super mellow. I find myself a lot more not rude or anything, but no hesitation speaking my mind.
Yeah, it does give you a little more confidence, right?
Yeah.
I think you're going to be. Anytime you have any additional androgen load, you're probably going to be a little more confident.
Yeah. And then you hear the stories of DECA and NPP and all that and anxiety and how that messes with your head.
I never had an issue with nandrolone until the last 4 or 5 years. And then it definitely, Todd and I have talked about it, but it definitely gave me pretty bad anxiety when I use it.
So it must be a change in the in your brain chemistry, I guess, as we age.
It'd be GABA, dopamine, how it affects all of them. It's a synthetic progesterone. That does weird shit in men's bodies.
Yeah. Well, it is an anabolic compound.
Todd would know better than me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
I can't really figure out what. So, my opinion is, and this is just an opinion, is that if you're blocking the cortisol receptors, there's going to be a transient increase in the cortisol floating around your body. Which means cortisol, it makes you kind of hyper because it liberates fat cells and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people who think they have anxiety, they're actually having the physical reaction to the cortisol and then they're psychologically attributing it. So it's it's not a psychosomatic. It's almost the opposite of psychosomatic.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you don't know how to interpret what you're feeling,
right? Kind of you interpret your physical feelings as emotions, and they say it's anxiety because they get the same adrenaline when they have anxiety.
Because you're up, you're like
the odd thing was, Todd. I don't know what the fuck happened, man. Like I used Nandrolone for years. It was my favorite compound to run. And I never had one problem with it until I hit my late 40s. And then I've heard a lot of other guys say this. I don't know if something changed in my body, my physiology, or the chemistry of how my body works, or something changed.
So what I've noticed is where Paul said that he got anxiety, what I got was insomnia, which would I got both. Which would make me feel anxious.
Yeah, because you're not resting.
Because normally when light hits your eye, cortisol is released.
Right.
Right, daylight, and that makes you mobilize fat and gets more hyper. And then when it's dark, melatonin's released.
Right.
So when you're taking Tren and it's blocking the cortisol receptors, you're going to have, and then you have the sleep disturbance. Same thing with Deca, in my case, NPP, because it was the rapid shooting up and the shooting down and the shooting up and the shooting down. If I took the NPP in the morning, I could sleep at night. But if I took the NPP before bed, I couldn't sleep. So I was like, it has to be cortisol related. And so thus, I think as we get older, we're more sensitive to this, perhaps. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I know that I used to be able to handle 100 Tren a day or 200 Deca a day. And now I can't handle like 20 NPP or 10 Tren.
Huh.
I just won't sleep.
And I assume also as we age, our mitochondrial function, everything changes, right? Like how quickly you react to things and all that. I mean, I would assume.
I don't know. I don't like to assume
That's my guess.
I believe that entropy is tied to time.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that just because the time is passing, that you don't control the amount of entropy. So that somebody might age much faster than someone else, depending on how good they live their life.
That's true. And how they take care of themselves and the practices they do and so on. No, that makes sense. Okay.
And that if you're like taking growth hormone and glutathione and MOTS-C and doing all these things from like 25 on, would you stay 25 forever? We don't know because no one's that responsible who's 25. Yeah. But you don't have that level of discipline until you're in your 40s, and it's already you've aged to the point of 40. But you could preserve your 40-year-old self for maybe 20, 30 years, rather than if you just let time take its toll, then you're a mess by 50. Yeah. You got someone like Sly Stallone at 78 who looks like his face might look old.
Yeah, but he looks like he's, 50?
He's functionally able to beat up a guy who's like 40 years old.
No doubt. No doubt. I'll be honest with you. If I froze where I am right now, I'd be happy because I feel fitter at 54 than I did at 30. But that's just lifestyle too and all that.
Well, you're turning up your test and your GH. That's not going to make you age faster.
That is going to make me age faster?
No, it's not going to make you age faster. It's going to make you age slower. Okay. So you're helping yourself.
There you go.
People will. Steve will say that it makes your face age, but that's because you're growing more skin. So like the skin, you grow more muscle, you grow more skin. Your skin has nowhere to go. It's going to start folding in on itself.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you less healthy. It just means your face looks older.
Right. And there's this lifestyle thing you were pointing out that his face has still aged some, but but the rest of his physique is ridiculous, considering his age.
I mean, I'm going on 52. I don't feel like I look like 52. Maybe I do.
You don't. No, you don't.
You actually look younger now than you did 3 years ago.
I don't know what you looked like 3 years ago, but you don't look 52. So there you go.
I feel
I feel like 52. Everything's fucking falling apart on me.
That's you've been putting your body through like stressful things by being a bodybuilder.
Although
these are extreme endeavors.
I've gotten my blood work pretty much back in order. This is the best my blood work has looked in a long time.
Yeah. I'm super happy with mine with the my cholesterol and all that is like, so aim to keep it that way. Let's see. Okay, another viewer question. This one's a karate one. I love this one. Okay. I hate traditional sports, so I got into karate a couple of years ago to be active instead. I'm a Kyokushin green belt. Kyokushin, that's karate. That's got to be karate. My friends are giving me crap about it because they say it's useless in today's world of MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. Are they right? Am I wasting my time?
Well, as a guy who did Jiu-Jitsu for half a decade, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, I was gonna say if the objective here's how I see it.
I saw many a blue belt
is
wreck
self-defense. Yeah, you're wasting your time. You're absolutely wasting
many
your
a blue belt in Jiu-Jitsu wreck black belts in karate.
Yeah. I mean,
or,
if you're doing
kung
it for
fu
the
experts.
art, if you're doing because it's a martial art and you're doing the art piece of it, fine and good. You're doing kata, you're doing that, sure.
It's a great workout, right? You know,
yeah,
hey, if you enjoy the exercise and
it's just
keeps you mobile.
But yeah, because once that jiu-jitsu guy gets past your strike range and does a takedown, it's over.
I'll never forget. We had a guy roll into class one time who was bragging about how he had been doing kung fu his entire life.
Oof.
And doing kung fu his entire life, and like how just I remember I absolutely fucking demolished this guy. Absolutely demolished this guy. Even college wrestlers. We would have we had a college wrestler come in who was bragging about how he didn't think anybody could take him out. And I remember I fucked that dude up too. And he got done and he just looked at me and he goes, "No respect, sir, but you're old." I'm like, yeah, and I just kicked your fucking ass too, man.
Yeah.
I tapped you out like 8 fucking times in 5 minutes.
Well, what's that saying? Like, don't
and
be
I'm a
scared.
mediocre jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Yeah, like, don't be scared of the young warrior. Be scared of that grizzled veteran. That's the guy that you're gonna be scared of.
I tell you, the guy you don't want to fuck with is the dude that's got cauliflower ears.
Yeah,
that's the guy you don't roll up
yeah.
and talk shit to in the bar.
Yeah, absolutely. So, viewer, thanks for the question, but yeah, if you want to
sign up for jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, if you want to stay in shape and it's fun, have at it, but don't think of it as a self-defense thing.
I mean, honestly, the chances, they're really the best self-defense method that you can possibly have is a concealed weapons permit, man. It doesn't really matter then.
The great equalizer.
Yeah, just get a fucking gun.
Yeah.
So my take is jiu-jitsu is most important for your feet, Muay Thai, for your hands, boxing.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much
what the MMA studio does. The same shit now.
Yeah,
they might have you learn wrestling too, just for shits and giggles.
That's the formula in the UFC now. Now they've made the rules in the UFC so jiu-jitsu is not as as usable, because it's to be honest with you, I get it from their perspective. It's just fucking boring to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's more fun watching guys knock each other out than it is for guys fighting for position on the ground and trying to tap each other out. That's not fun to watch.
Well, you guys remember those? You guys remember the original UFCs back with Rorion Gracie and all those guys?
Yeah, 100%.
45-minute fights, that were like just a wrestling match, really, until somebody finally tapped somebody out.
Well, I would tell you though, it doesn't work that way on the street. It's most people have no idea what to do once they're on the ground.
Yeah,
right.
They have zero clue. Even a wrestler, like a skilled, a guy that did some high school wrestling is going to have a huge advantage over just a regular dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big they are. If I take them down and we're on the ground, they're not bigger. Yeah. Now it's just a matter of who knows. Because you're going to punch them in the face repeatedly. They're going to roll over on their stomach. Now they just gave you the back. You do a snake choke, they're done. It's like 90% of fights.
Yeah, we even talked about it too. Like, everybody talks about reach and height and stuff in fighting. It doesn't fucking matter when you're on the ground.
Not once you get on the ground.
Yeah. No. Once you're on the ground, it's like, I'm past your guard, it's over.
I got and this is the humbling part of jiu-jitsu, I got my ass absolutely kicked by dudes that were half my size. And like some of the black belts, we had some highly skilled black belts like this. I remember this one guy, we called him Little Ben. But dude was like 5'6", maybe like 170 pounds, and he just whipped everybody's ass.
It was like a spider monkey.
He was just a fucking technician.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing with jiu-jitsu, that it really it is the ultimate equalizer. If you understand leverage, control over your body, and you get really good at the skill, the sport. I mean, it's not to say that size doesn't matter, but it certainly, if you're a highly skilled jiu-jitsu practitioner, you're going to have a really good chance against anybody.
Yeah.
Although
you can leverage the skill a lot.
I remember the black belt that ran our school, though, used to always say size doesn't matter until it does.
Yeah.
What's funny is I've had this talk with a lot of people who were top coaches in the UFC and stuff, as they say the muscles don't help. I'm like, it doesn't help with striking. You're right. But when it comes to grappling, sure as fuck does.
That'll help.
Oh yeah, it definitely makes a difference in grappling. Yeah. I mean, you imagine Brian Shaw sitting on top of you. What the fuck are you going to do?
Weight classes are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what he can know nothing. I mean, there's and I could be a black belt. I'm not going to be able to fucking take out Brian Shaw.
Right, because they'll say the same thing. As these guys are always going to say 140-pound blue belt's going to take out one of these bodybuilders. I'm like, not if the bodybuilder has a blue belt too.
Yeah, no. Then that's not going to happen.
If all things are equal, no, absolutely not.
It's like if you're a 140-pound black belt and this guy's a 250-pound blue belt, he might fuck your ass up.
Yeah,
they used to say like I think it was in jiu-jitsu, they said for every 20 pounds that's one level on the belt.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's assuming you at least have the basics. Assuming you're at least a high level white belt,
right?
And then you're basically testable for the blue belt. You've got all the basics down: the triangle, the guillotine, your arm bars. You can do takedowns. You can pass a guard. You can do mounted. You can do back
you've
snake
done
choke.
Jiu-Jitsu, Todd? Yeah,
I started in '99.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah. So I had a little bit.
I want to get back. I want to go back and get my black belt at some point. I got to let the shoulder heal up. But
I was going to say,
what belt did you have?
I was just a hair short of getting my purple. I had about 5.
Shit. Okay. Yeah, so fuck, if you got already up to a purple belt, then enough muscle mass will make up for any belts.
Yeah, I mean, I had about, let's see, I did it for 5 years pretty consistently. I had about 500 hours of class on my blue belt. So whatever that works out to be, I would go 2-3 days a week, 3 days a week, and I did that for about 5 years.
And I started before '99, because in '99 I actually was in Honolulu and I trained with I think it was Hicks and Gracie for like one day. It was one day. It was I got a bell at a lesson, but I actually trained with a Gracie at one point. Yeah,
the guy that ran my academy was his Hickson's best friend. He moved over here with him. So I've actually met Hickson and been in a couple classes.
Well, it was the one who lived in Honolulu. I thought it was Hickson. It might have been Horian or something like that, but it's been 25 years.
Horian lived in LA. Hickson lived in Honolulu for a while. Yep. Guys, I got to run. I got to go pick up my daughter from work. Right. She is done at Panera Bread.
Okay. Hey, I've got the kids coming too. So you want to hang for a minute, Todd, or it's time to eat?
Well, we could. I mean, I got to eat, but I can stay. I mean, after I eat, I'm going to have to go to bed, and I've only been up since 7.
Todd, you probably, I'm so downsized now, you probably weigh more than me.
I'm mid prep. I'm at 198 right now.
Oh, really? Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, okay. I'm 17 weeks out.
Yeah. And by the way, Todd, you're going to one of the shows down in Florida this year. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm doing the San Antonio Pro. I'm doing the Daytona Pro, then I'm doing the Hurricane Pro, which is St. Petersburg. But because I'm so ahead of schedule,
I'm
probably going to do the Masters World Championship. So because this year, the Masters Olympia does not have classic physique, which means the actual person who wins the Masters World Championship in classic physique is the real world champion of classic physique. So
I didn't know that this year.
That's September 1st. So I'm probably going to make that one, and I'm going to try, because let's say I lose. Let's say I get third. Then I'd be the third best over 45 classic guy in the world. Doesn't mean it's true. I mean, Victor Black is one of the top 20 bodybuilders on earth, according to Victor Black. But
Victoria.
Yeah, but Victoria.
I just laughed when he said that. I'm like, dude, top 20 masters bodybuilder. Come on, man. Give me a fucking break. I actually won. Jesus. I was the top amateur in my class last year in the United States. So
yeah, you won when you went North American.
No, Masters Nationals. I won the overall.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, it was Masters Nationals. So yes, that would make you the over 50 national champion by definition.
Yeah. I'd like to. Well, we'll see how my recovery goes, but I'd like to do. I'm thinking the Tampa next year.
So the rest of this year, you're done.
I mean, I can't lift until fucking September.
I'm
fucked.
That's
right
it.
now. So, and I'm down to 235. This is the lightest I've been in a long time.
235. Holy shit.
Yeah. Jeez. I was 250 on stage last year.
My highest point in the off season was when you saw me at the Olympia. I was 218, which is very light for me for the off season.
Well, you were big.
Like usually I get up to 220, 225 in the off season.
You were 218.
I was only 218. Yeah, I was 198 right now. Yeah. I was
all right, guys, I gotta roll.
Right now. All right, see you later, buddy.
See you. All right. Jeez, 218. So, let me give you a frightening fact. Around my office, I'm like the jack guy. I'm 200 pounds and 5'8".
Right, so you're weighing more than I do.
But you're a fucking brick, though, because I'm slightly taller than you are and like 20 pounds lighter, and I'm not a light guy. So
you're not lighter than me. You're heavier than me.
But right now,
I'm 198.
Oh, you're 198 right now. So we're about the same weight. Still, we're the same weight. What the? Anyway,
that's what people say when they meet me in person.
Yeah,
they're just how are you only 180 pounds, or how are you only 175 pounds? It's like it doesn't make any sense to them. It's like the smaller I get, the weirder I look. Yeah, because.
But hey, if it wins bodybuilding competitions, that's what matters, bro. So
yeah,
absolutely,
it all comes off the waist and the hips.
Yeah.
Like that 20 pounds, it's just, there's nothing comes off the arms and the shoulders. It's all waist and hips. So the smaller my waist gets, the bigger the upper body gets.
Right. Then you get that full X frame effect.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So rather than looking like a mini fridge, I actually look like a bodybuilder when I diet down.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, and how far out are you? 16 weeks, you said?
17 weeks.
17 weeks. Okay. So
17 weeks tomorrow.
Little ways to go. All right. Well,
so if I lose 1 pound a week, which is very easy to do, then I would be 181.
And I know you got your nutrition like dialed in, so like that's not an issue. Like right now, I'm following the your guide on how to grow. By the way, I am getting stronger for sure. So, and the weight is. Right, I go up a pound, down a pound, up a pound, down a pound, steady, but with strength gains. So the way I see it, if I recall your advice, is don't fuck with it. Just stay with that.
So we're going to leave the calories alone, leave your volume alone, and you're just going to add in 10 milligrams of test, and you're adding in 1 unit of GH.
Okay.
And your weight will not go up. And your lipids none of your blood work's going to get bad because you've been this way for so long. A little change, your body won't notice.
Yeah, and the lipids are good. I think it's like, I want to say total. I can look at the numbers later, but it's all in the green. Yeah,
if everything's
even with bars a pre-workout, which was why I asked you guys. Still, it's all in the green.
Yeah. So once you add in that 10 milligrams of test. And the 1 unit of GH, you probably won't notice anything for a couple weeks, but it's just going to keep the progress going.
All right, and I'll be glad to be your guinea pig, doctor.
I don't need a guinea pig.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at this point, a couple hundred people deep, that this is going to work.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that you got plenty of case studies at this point. So awesome. Well, let's wrap it up. Since I know you got food to eat,
We gotta eat food. Yeah,
gotta sleep. Thank you as always. Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do it again. All right.
Yes, sir. That'll be awesome. All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Catch you later, my man.